Yes, good afternoon to all. I, Dr. Jakir Hussain Laskar, I am very much honored to speak in front of you all a few words on the very interesting topic pedagogy to andragogy to heutagogy, a very recent paradigm shift in higher education. Before that, I would like to thank respected director and dean, sir, of Aligarh Muslim University Academic Council, and to respected ma'am, course coordinator, Dr. Nasrin ma'am, coordinator, and respected others who have given opportunity to speak here, and my dear beloved participants. So today I am going to speak on a topic. It is pedagogy to andragogy to heutagogy, a very recent paradigm shift in higher education. Respected all, let me speak now. Actually, there is will find a revolutionary changes in all field, including in our education. So to keep up with the benefits of globalization, if educational changes and recent dynamic update is applied in all grades and disciplines of education, then permanent solution can be reached. Examining by the researchers, it is observed that heutagogy is a useful strategy. It is very relevant strategy to make the learners, to make the all kind of learners self-determined ones in their learning process, especially in higher education. Now, we know we are entering an era where learning and teaching strategies are determined by the learners, not teachers. So, the interconnection of heutagogy, independent learning strategies with internet, cybergogy, network, learning the transdisciplinary perspectives. It is a it is in a transdisciplinary perspective. Why it is a transdisciplinary perspective? Because it integrates the theories and methods. In this transdisciplinary situation, learning is the exploration of a relevant concept, issues, or problems that integrates the perspectives of multiple disciplines in order to concept connect in order to connect new knowledge and deeper knowledge under understanding to real life experiences. So pedagogy provide a climate of learning, communication between learners and instructors, learners and teachers, more broadly, without being insulated by space and time. Dear friends, So I'm going to explain one by one. If you have any queries, any question after my presentation, I will give the scope to clarify your any doubt. So let me
Not audible,
get
sir.
it.
Not
Hello?
audible.
Is it not audible?
Sir, it is perfectly fine. Ma'am, please check your
Audible, sir.
audio. Perfectly fine.
मैं
Audible, sir.
सर आवाज आ रही है स्पष्ट है
So let me
सर आवाज आ रही है।
please
स्पष्ट है सर, आवाज आ रही है।
permit me. Let me proceed. So pedagogy models provide opportunities for learners to explore knowledge. So it is in models, it is in strategies. It provides opportunity for learners to explore their knowledge and experiences through more varied learning strategies, so that they become more literate and relevant in the present context. Whereas pedagogy, a very popular term, a pedagogy, is teacher-led learning situation. Pedagogy is a teacher-led situation where instructor, that means teacher, with a teacher, control and course structuring required for children. Pedagogy literally means leading children. So it is teacher controlled. Whereas andragogy, this andragogy or andragogy is self-determined learning for adult learner. Earlier pedagogy it is for children, school children, and it is for adult learner. Andragogy is for adult learner. Andragogy literally means leading man. Pedagogy leading children. Andragogy is leading man. Next, but heutagogy, because our pedagogy to andragogy to heutagogy. So heutagogy takes an approach. It is an approach. It is an approach in higher education that's different from both. The difference from both learner maturity and autonomy required, self-determined. It is self-determined. It is self-determined learning. Pedagogy is a self-determined learning. It is a student-centered instructional strategy. Pedagogy is a student-centered instructional strategy. Am I clear? That emphasizes the development of autonomy of the students' capacity and capability. So this is pedagogy. And here in the pedagogy, you will find focus on to development of autonomy, development of capacity and capability. That is why nowadays focus is shifted. My dear friend, you will find nowadays focus is shifted. Shifted from what the teacher can teach to what the learner can learn. Now focus has been shifted from what the teacher can teach to what the learner can learn. It is very difficult to what the learner can learn. Consequently, there is a need because there is a paradigm shift. What the teacher can teach to what the learner can learn. Consequently, there is a need to develop in students the ability to sort through issues that resist discrete, that detached pre-formulated solutions. This is very important, my dear friend. My dear friend, throughout our country, you are very respectable persons. You are the future leader of our society. You will find the objective of my paper of today's speech is to explain how pedagogy to andragogy to heutagogy, how pedagogy to andragogy to heutagogy works during the advent of more advanced educational technological times. And also about perception and heutagogical implementation and its practicability. Okay, my dear friend, let me permit to explain one by one pedagogy, andragogy, heutagogy. Am I permitted? Am I permitted to proceed?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Respected all. In pedagogical environments, in the pedagogical classroom environment, a teachers, he or she, a teacher, he or she determines learning, what students will learn in pedagogical situations, in pedagogical environment, in the classroom situation, when we enter in the classroom situation, in any stages, tertiary to higher, it may be in B.Ed class, M.Ed class, any classroom situation, in degree class, in PG class, teacher selects, teacher decides what students will learn. Guardian decides what my children will learn and how they will learn it. This is the pedagogical environment. Students rely on their teachers in this situation and learn topics in the order in which they are presented. Am I got this point? Am I got this point?
Yes, sir.
In
Yes,
contrast,
sir.
in contrast,
Yes, sir.
students in andragogical environments, in the andragogical classroom environments, in the andragogical situation, use the teacher as a mentor or guide. Here, in andragogical situation, teacher is mentor or guide. Aim at to find their own solution to the tasks the teacher sets. To find their own solutions. Andragogical students, people find their own solution to the tasks. What about tasks assigned by the teachers? To the tasks the teacher sets. My dear friend, you will find in pedagogical classroom situation. Pedagogy is known as self-determined learning. It is popularly known as self-determined learning. It is student-centered. Pedagogy is student-centered strategies. It is student-centered instructional strategy. Here emphasizes the development of autonomy of the students, capacity and ability. And the goal of pedagogy is to teach lifelong learning. You will find it is very, very important point. The goal of pedagogy is to teach lifelong learning, not for children, not for only students, not for men. It for every, irrespective of stages. The goal of pedagogy is to teach lifelong learning. The pedagogical approach encourages students to find their own problems and questions to answer. In this classroom situation, in this environment, pedagogical environment, the pedagogical approach encourages the students to find their own problems and questions to answer instead of simply completing the tasks teachers assigns. These students seeks out areas of uncertainty and complexity in the subject they study. It is very, very important. Here, teacher help by providing context to students. Students learning and creating opportunity for them to explore subjects fully. So in pedagogical situation, teachers help by providing the context, providing the situation, providing the background. Here, teachers create the background. Here, teacher create the basis for the students learning. And teacher help to create opportunities. Just like our parents. Parents provide the opportunity. Why we are here? Because our parents given the opportunity to go ahead for higher education. That is why, my dear friend, you are here and me also in front of you. This is credit goes to my parents. They've given the opportunity, all the facility given my parents, your parents, and guardian of all the society. They provided the situation. That is why we are here. So pedagogical situation, pedagogical teachers help by providing context, providing the background, basis for the students learning and creating opportunities for them. Explore subject fully. To prepare the learners who are well prepared to face for the complexities of today's workplace. Again, I'm going to speak about pedagogy. Yes, pedagogy. Where is pedagogy? Pedagogy is the relationship between learning techniques and cultures. So pedagogy, we know it is a very familiar, very popular, very well known to us. It is the relationship. Pedagogy is the relationship between learning techniques and cultures. It is determined. Here it is determined based on an educator's belief about how learning takes place. And pedagogy requires meaningful classroom interactions between educators and learners, teachers and learners, teachers and students. The goal is, pedagogical goal is to help students build on prior learning and develop skills and attitudes. So here, skills and attitudes develops. Pedagogical approaches are based on 5 major approaches. Pedagogical environment, pedagogical learning situation are based on 5 major approaches, which are constructivist, collaborative, integrative, reflective, and inquiry-based learning. We know constructivism is the theory that says learners construct knowledge rather than just passively take information. So, in pedagogical situation, learners, they create the knowledge, construct the knowledge rather than passively take information. And in collaborative situation also, collaborative or cooperative learning situation, it is a situation in which two or more people learn or attempt to learn something together. Teamwork. Integrative approach under pedagogical situation. Here also, integrative learning, students make connection across curricula, connections of concepts plus experiences. And reflective level also under pedagogical situation. In reflective learning, allowing learning steps back from their learning experiences, help them to develop critical thinking and skills and improve on future experiences. Learned knowledge they applied in new faced critical situation in faced complex situation. So these are the strategies under pedagogical situation. These are the approaches under pedagogical learning environment. So pedagogy is the method. So pedagogy is the strategies and practice of teaching, especially as an academic subject or theoretical concept. The institution and teacher decide what the students will learn and how they will learn. This is very, very important in pedagogical situation. In academic or theoretical situation or practical situation, in the academic subject or theoretical concept, here the institution and the teacher decides what the students will learn and how they will learn. What will learn and how they will learn. What they will learn means contents, and how they will learn means strategies and methods. Now let me explain about andragogy in details. Good easy. Andragogy. So typically, andragogy means the understanding of the science and practice of adult learning. Understanding of the science and practice of adult learning. Andragogy refers to the methods and approaches used in adults' education, and it is also directed, it is also aimed towards self-actualization. Self-actualization, gaining experiences and problem solving. So the andragogy which is methods and approaches for adult educations, which is the teaching of for the adults, which can be pedagogical, heutagogical, or a blend of both. So in andragogy, we'll find mix of everything. It is also pedagogical in nature, heutagogical also nature, and both is there. But it is for adult learning. So it is a science. Andragogy means it is understanding the science and practice of adult learning. Strategy for adult, approach for adult learning. Now let me elaborate. Our main target, heutagogy, is the very important areas, especially for the recent globalization and MP 2020 situations, to cherish all the lofty ambition of our 2020 mission. We all the concern, we have to go for heutagogical strategy, heutagogical approach, because heutagogy is the study of, it is determined learning. Why? Because it is also an attempt to challenge some ideas about teaching learning that still prevail in teacher-centered learning, and the need for, as Bilford 1997 elegantly puts it, knowledge sharing. Bilford, she explained it, knowledge sharing rather than knowledge hoarding. It is not knowledge hoarding. It is knowledge sharing. As heutagogy looks to the future, in which knowing how to learn will be a fundamental skill, given the space of innovation, given the pace of innovation, fundamental skill, given the pace or motion of innovation and changing structure of communities and workplace. In self-determined learning, my dear friend, you will find the self-determined learning in the heutagogical situation. It is important that learner acquires both competencies and capabilities. Here, learner develop. Here, learner. It is very important for the learner that learners acquire both characteristics. What characteristics? Both competencies and capabilities. Competency can be understood, my dear friend. These are two important terms: competencies and capabilities. For a person, for a learner, for a students, competency can be understood as proven ability in acquiring knowledge. Competency means, competency we can be understood, it is an ability in acquiring knowledge and skills. So competency means ability of a person, ability of students in acquiring knowledge and skills. While capability, while capability is characterized by learner confidence. Capability means learner confidence, characterized by learner confidence in his or her competency. As a result, the ability to take appropriate, effective action to formulate and solve problems in both familiar and unfamiliar, challenging settings. My dear friends, I would like to draw your kind attention towards these few lines.
आवाज नहीं आ रही सर.
Yes,
आवाज नहीं आ रही.
I would like to draw your kind attention towards these two words. Pedagogy. Am I audible, my dear friend?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
1 second.
Yes, sir. आवाज आ रही है.
Let me drink the water.
यस सर आवाज आ रही है.
आ गई सर, आवाज आ गई.
सर आवाज साफ नहीं आ रही है आज.
So, pedagogy is a self-determined learning situation. Please try to note it. It is a self-determined learning situation. Here, important things for the learners acquire two things. Acquire both the competencies and capabilities. Now, what is competency? Competency can be understood as proven ability in acquiring knowledge and skills. Competency means ability in acquiring knowledge and skills, while capability is characterized by learner confidence in his or her competency, and as a result, the ability to take appropriate and effective action to formulate and solve problems in both familiar and unfamiliar and changing settings take place. This is the very, very soul things of pedagogy, my dear friends. It is the very cream things, all the strategies and approaches and tactics of the pedagogy. It is why again and again I'm saying learner acquires both competencies and capabilities. Competency can be understood as proven ability in acquiring knowledge and skills, while capability is characterized by learner confidence in his or her competency, and as a result, the ability to take appropriate and effective action. Why? To formulate and solve problems by himself or herself, by the students. In which situation? Both familiar situation, both known situation, and in unfamiliar, in unknown situation, and changing settings also. Have you got these points? My dear friend, have you got these points?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes,
Now
sir.
let me proceed.
Yes, sir.
Let me proceed.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
In pedagogical atmosphere, capable person exhibit the following traits. What are the traits? What are the characteristics of pedagogical atmosphere in pedagogical learning situation? देखो, those who are pedagogical teachers, those who are pedagogical learners, If pedagogical learning situation is there in your classroom, if pedagogical learning situation is there in your among your children in the home, in the learning table, in your study room, you will find the following traits among your children, among the teachers, among the situation. First, self-efficacy. Means if one can do, I can too. This mentality will be there. If one can do, I can too. Such type of mentality will be developed. If you are in a pedagogical situation, if a teacher is in a pedagogical teaching learning situation, if a student is in pedagogical learning situation, teaching learning situation, even if our children in our study room, in their study tables, if they are busy for pedagogical situation, such type of development will find out in their among them. They will feel if one can do, I can do also. That is self-efficacy. This is very, very important psychological traits among the peoples, among the persons, among the students, among the children, among the learners. So if we the teachers, if we able to create the pedagogical learning situation in our classroom situation, as well as in our home, if a guardian, if a parents, as a parents, if I am able to develop pedagogical learning situation in my study room, in my study table, where my children are learning, they'll feel the self-efficacy. Self-efficacy, psychological traits will develop. They will feel if other can do, I can do also, Papa. In knowing how to learn, continuously reflect on the learning process. Another characteristics, traits in pedagogical learning situation, communication and teamwork skills will be there. Working well with others and being openly communicative. Be openly minded, communicative in nature, which is very, very important characteristics for deep learning, for competitive learning. Communicative in nature, openly communicative in nature. Another important characteristics or traits, psychological traits of pedagogical atmosphere. Pedagogical atmosphere capable person. He may be teacher, maybe students, maybe classroom situation, maybe in home, our study room, study tables, anywhere, our children, our students. Pedagogical capable person will be creativity, in creativity, in creative situation, in creative nature. Creativity means particularly in applying competencies to new and unfamiliar situations, and by being adaptable and flexible in approach. New and unfamiliar situations. And pedagogical atmosphere, pedagogical capable persons, capable situation are always positive values. Always positive values will be there. Positive attitudes will be there. Constructive mind will be there. No negative things, nothing negative. This is the precondition positive values. The precondition of any success is positive attitude, positive values. And pedagogical learning atmosphere help to create the positive values among the children, among the students, among the teachers, among the learning environments, anywhere, everywhere. And my dear friend, you will find in pedagogical concept, students decide what to learn and how. What to learn and how to learn. Student will decide. We have found in pedagogical situation, teacher decide what to learn and how to learn. But here, students decide, children decides what to learn, how to learn, and is supported by outside resources. Yes, it is supported by outside resources. What are they? Including the teacher. Am I clear, my dear friend?
जी सर.
Yes, sir.
In pedagogical situation, in pedagogical concept, your student decides what to learn, how to learn. And it is supported by the outside resources, including the teacher. And my dear friends, here we'll find 5 major pedagogical approaches. My dear friend, I'd like to your attention, please. What are the 5 pedagogical approaches? Can you read what are the 5 pedagogical approaches here?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes sir.
Yes, sir.
Please tell me what are the I've written 5 major pedagogical approaches are constructivist.
Sir, it is first one is inclusion, second one is motivation, third one is quality assurance, next is consistency and transparency, and the last one is innovative approaches.
Now, the first I'm asking you, what are the major pedagogical approaches? Major approaches, pedagogical approaches are 5. Constructivist, collaborative, integrative, reflective, and inquiry-based learning.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And principles of effective pedagogy. They pave the way for innovative learning. These are inclusion, motivation, quality assurance, consistency, and transparency, and innovative approaches. Okay. Then you will find principle of andragogy. Hey, andragogy as the art and science of adult learning. There are 6 principles of andragogy. First one is need to know. Adults need to know the reasons they are being asked to learn, why they are going to learn. Experience, adult learners come with experiences. Then self-concept, adults have a need to be responsible for their learning decision. Readiness, problem orientation, and intrinsic motivation within themselves. This is the principles of adult learning. Now, principles of pedagogical learning. Pedagogical learning is the study of self-determined learning. Pedagogy is a learner-centered education theory founded on the key principles of the following. There is learner agency, self-efficacy, capability, metacognition, knowing how to learn, knowledge of the knowledge, and reflection. These are the principles, 5 principles. These are the 5 principles. So 5 principles of the this is the learner agency, learner centered, and important principle is self-efficacy. What I explained to you, this is the mentality. If an other can do, why not too? Why not me? And capability, I also explained. And metacognitions, metacognitive skills, including planning to learning, reflection, self-assessment, developing and using processes, summarizing and synthesizing any information. So these are the metacognitive skills. And metacognitive activities or strategies, including planning how to approach a learning task by himself or herself, using appropriate skills and strategies to solve a problem. In metacognition situation, a learner always is involved for self-assessment and self-correction as a result of evaluating one's own progress towards completing the task. So in metacognition situation, it is a very high level strategy. A learner, a student, a teacher always insist himself or herself for self-assessment, self-corrections. As a result, what happened? Evaluating his or her own progress. In metacognition situation, evaluate his or her own progress towards completing a very high level task. It is called knowing how to learn, knowledge of the knowledge. Then reflection. Learn knowledge using the critical situation to solve the challenging coming situation, challenging problems. These are the 5 pedagogical principles based on pedagogical strategies are there. Now, let me present in front of you a comparative study about pedagogy, andragogy, pedagogy. Pedagogy as children's learning, andragogy as adults learning, and pedagogy as self-directed, self-aimed learning strategy. Here, In pedagogy, you will find the learner is a dependent personality. Learner is totally dependent. To whom? To teacher. Your teacher decides what, how, and when anything is learned, anything to be learned. In pedagogy, teacher decides what, how, and when anything or something to be learned. In andragogy, where is it fine? Andragogy are independent. Strategy for the people, for the person, for the man, adult. They strive for autonomy and self-direction in learning. Whereas in heutagogy, you will find learners are interdependent. Here, learners are interdependent. Here, learners identify the potential to learn from noble experiences as a matter of course. They are able to manage their own learning. My dear friend, I like to draw your special attention when we are in pedagogical situation. We as a teacher educator, we as a teacher, when we are in the university classroom situation, in college situation, or in our home situation, if we are in pedagogical learning environment, you'll find our learners are interdependent. Our learner can identify the potential to learn from noble experiences, very high level experiences, very from rich experiences as a matter of course. And our learner, they are able to manage their own learning. They can manage. They can manage. Suppose if I give the 100 rupees to my children, who is 10 years, and if I ask him to go to the market, he can't do anything. Only he will buy chocolate, all these things, lollipop, all these things. If I give this 100 rupees to buy a matured learner, 100 rupees, he will think how to utilize this 100 rupees in a good manner for purchasing something very good, very relevant. So in pedagogical situation, a learner works in a noble experiences with noble experiences as a matter of course, and they are able to manage their own learning situation. Here, learner, you see, learner resource for learning. In pedagogical situation, the learner has few resources: the teacher, devices, transmission, techniques to store knowledge in their learner's head. In pedagogical situation, learner has few resources. What are they? First, teacher, devices. There will be different types of aids, devices, transmission, teacher to students, devices to students. It is a process, receiving, and techniques to store knowledge in the learner's head. Whereas in this situation, in andragogical situation, adults use their own and others' experiences. And in heutagogical situation, you'll find your teacher provides some resources, but the learner decides the path for negotiating the learning. regarding reasons for learning in pedagogical learning situation, in pedagogical strategy, in pedagogical climate, environment. Learn in order to advance to the next stage. And in andragogical situation, adults learn when they experience a need to know or to more or to perform more effectively. If you get chance to perform more effectively, then he can learn, then he can get that experience and need to know. And in pedagogical situation, on the background of reason for learning, here learning is not necessarily planned or linear. Here it is not linear situation. Learning is not necessarily based on need, but on the identification of the potential to learn in the noble situations. Identification of the potential. What potentiality he or she among himself or herself and in the situation or in the problematic situation. To potential to learn in noble situations. Here, focus of learning. Here, focus of learning in the pedagogical situation. Learning is subject-centered. In pedagogical situation, focused on prescribed curriculum and planned sequences. Whereas, focus of learning in andragogical situation, adult learning is tasks or problem-centered. But in the heutagogical situation, you will find learners can go beyond problem solving. Here, focus of learning is learner can go beyond problem solving by enabling problem proactivity. Learner use their own and others' experiences and internal process. What are the internal process? Such as reflection, environmental scanning, experiences, interaction with others, and proactive as well as problem-solving behaviors. So these are the very noble situation here you will find.
Please mute, ma'am.
So in regards of motivations, in the pedagogical situation, you'll find motivation comes from external sources. Usually parents, teachers, and a sense of competitions. Generally from three sources. Motivation, which is external. In pedagogical situation, parents, if broken family, negative motivation. So parents are with cooperatives, very helpful, supporting in nature. Okay. Your sources of motivation are parents, teachers, and sense of competition. If sense of competition is there, then in pedagogical situation, they will be motivated. And in andragogical situations, we'll find Motivation stems from internal sources. Internal sources. Sources, the increased self-esteem, confidence, and recognition. That come from successful performance. And in pedagogical situation, motivation based on self-efficacy, based on knowing how to learn, creativity, ability to use these qualities in noble as well as familiar situation and working with others. So this is the characteristics of motivation in the pedagogical situations. If a teacher, if a students, if a learner, in our school situation, in our college situation, in our university situation, in our home situation, if you are children, if you are students, if you are friends, if you are colleagues, if you are brother and sisters in pedagogical learning situation, they will be self-efficacy. They will have self-efficacy. They will possess the self-efficacy. They will always feel, always such mentality will be there. If one can do, why not me? Why not me too? Knowing how to learn, these feelings will be there. They will be creative in mind. In pedagogical situation, motivation is ability to use these qualities in noble as well as in a familiar situation and working with others. Now let me proceed about the role of the teachers in andragogy, pedagogy, andragogy, and pedagogical situation. My dear friend, here you will find in pedagogical situation, designs the learning process, imposes material, is assumed to know best. Here role of the teacher is designs the learning process, imposes material, is assumed to know best. Here it is imposes the material. On whom? To whom? To the learner. By whom? By the teacher guardian. In the pedagogical, in andragogical situation, enabler or facilitator. Teacher is enabler or facilitator. Climate of collaboration, respect and openness. Such kind of role is there by the teacher. Whereas in the pedagogical situation, role of the teacher, my dear friend, will find develop the learner's capability. Your teachers help to develop the learner's capability. Because capable people know how to learn. Are creative, have a high degree of self-efficacy. Capable people know how to learn. This is the role of the teachers. Develop learners' capability. And teachers help to create the creative situation for the students. And here, teachers have a high degree of self-efficacy. High degree of self-efficacy, apply competencies in noble as well as familiar situations. And they can work well with others. This is the comparative study for andragogy, pedagogy, andragogy, and heutagogy. So, my dear students, my dear friends, my dear colleagues, actually, heutagogy is a Greek word. It is coined in the year 2000 by Hayes and Cannon to describe self-learning independent of formal teaching. To describe self-learning independent of formal teaching. Heutagogy is a concept coined by Stuart Hayes of Southern Cross University. Is the study of self-determined learning. The notion is an expansion and interpretation of andragogy. So, heutagogy is the expansion and interpretation of andragogy. Heutagogy is self-determined learning. It is a student-centered instructional strategy. It is an instructional strategy to achieve the objectives where emphasizes the development of autonomy. Autonomy of whom? Of autonomy of the learners, of autonomy of the students, of autonomy of the peoples. Here stresses given the development of autonomy, stresses given for the development of capacity, development of capability. Please note these three terms. Heutagogy is a self-determined learning. It is student-centered. It is a instructional strategy which stresses the development of autonomy of the students, capacity of the students, and capability. Autonomy, capacity, and capability of the students given much more importance to develop in heutagogical situation, in heutagogical instructional situation. And the goal of heutagogy is to teach lifelong.
आवाज नहीं है नो वॉइस
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
No
ma'am.
voice, sir.
No award. Yes. This is a pause. By nature, heutagogical learning is not necessarily linear or planned. It is not linear or planned, but much more informal. It is much more informal and parallel with how people learn. How people learn best outside of a school situation, school settings. Here, the teacher serves more as a coach, as a valuable resource person to be tapped if necessary, but not the primary source of knowledge. Teacher is not the primary source of knowledge. Heutagogy is an interesting concept that can have a huge impact on our students' community. My dear friends, So we know our now present society is NEP 2020 creates a very high level situation. If you want to cherish this dream, we all the concern should be in this pedagogical situation. We must practice pedagogy. It is an interesting concept. Then that can have a huge impact on our students' community. As because pedagogical approach encourages students to find their own problems and questions to answers. So pedagogical, why it is very popular, why it is much more concerned in this present situation, why it is open a new paradigm, because pedagogical approach, pedagogical strategies encourages students to find their own problems and question to answers instead of simply completing the tasks, instead of simply completing the tasks teachers assign. The student seeks out areas of uncertainty and complexity in the subject they study. Very important things. Very important things. Instead of simply completing the tasks teacher assigns, what is called andragogy, pedagogy. Here in pedagogical situation, the student seeks out areas of uncertainty. In pedagogical situation, students are very much lover, very much fond of to work in uncertain situation, uncertain complex situation in the subject they study. Here, the teacher helps by providing context to students learning and creating opportunities for them to explore subjects fully. Here, teachers' responsibilities. Here, teachers help in the pedagogical situation with the teacher help by providing context, by providing the basis, by providing the background for our students learning. We create the background for the students learning. We create the basis for the students learning and creating opportunities. We provide the opportunities as a father, as a parent, as a guardian, as a guide for them. For whom? For our students to explore subject closely. Here they not to complete the tasks, but to explore the subjects fully. So in pedagogy requires the most students maturity and the least instructor control. This is very important. In pedagogy requires most students maturity and the least instructor control. Whereas we have found in pedagogy we have found totally opposite and end of the spectrum. Pedagogy requires the most students maturity and the least instructor teacher control. Whereas in pedagogy, on the other hand, is on the opposite, totally opposite and end of the spectrum. This is very important things. For andragogical oriented teaching, the goal is to establish some structure so learners can be self-directed in andragogical situation. Whereas for heterogeneous situation, in heterogeneous situation, we'll find heterogeneous oriented teaching. With the teacher, provide the teaching. Pedagogical oriented teaching, the purpose is to establish an environment where learners can determine their own goals. Learner can fix their own goals, learning paths. Learner can fix their own goals, their own learning paths, processes, and products. That means results. Here in pedagogical situation, the learner is at the center of the learning process rather than teacher or the curriculum. So you will find, my dear students, you will find in pedagogical situation, double loop learning is an important concept in pedagogy.
क्या लेक्चर खत्म हो गया क्या मैम?
No, sir, let me proceed, sir, let me proceed. In pedagogical situation, double loop learning is another important concept in pedagogy. In this style of learning, students not only think deeply about a problem and the actions they have taken to solve it, but also reflect upon the problem solving process. Here, idea is that students will begin to question their assumptions and gain insight into not only what they are learning, but also how they are learning. Here, in self-determined learning, pedagogical approach has four important steps. Four important steps in the pedagogical learning. First one is learner-defined learning contracts. Here's learner by himself. Learner himself or herself, they define the learning contracts. What does the learner want to learn or achieve? What results should we expect from the learning experience? What specific curriculum objectives are required? Another steps. Second step, flexible curriculum here. Pedagogical approach is only possible when the curriculum is flexible and takes into consideration the learner's questions, motivations, and how thinking shift as a result of what they have learned. Students must be able to create a curriculum for themselves that can adapt to their individual needs. Then flexible and negotiating assessment. Because assessment is important part of all instructional approaches, including pedagogy. In this style of learning, students design their own assessment rather than undergoing standard tests. This creates a less threatening environment for the students and can encourage deeper learning. It is important that assessment students design include ways of measuring the understanding of content, skills they have acquired, because the end of the process, students will be assessed to determine if the agreed upon outcomes have been achieved. And important steps for pedagogical learning, pedagogical approaches is collaborative learning. It is teamwork. So, one way to ease the transition into pedagogy is to encourage collaboration in the classroom. By design, the pedagogical approach facilitates students working together to share knowledge and reflect on their progress. So, collaborative sessions are an opportunity. These important steps. Last but not least, very important step. Collaborative sessions are an opportunity for students to learn from each other as well as think about how they can apply their new skills in practice. So, how to explore pedagogical strategy among students? Pedagogy is a powerful learning strategy on that one that gives students the tools to learn, grow throughout their lives. While this strategy tends to be reserved for professional settings and graduate courses, pedagogy is not an all or nothing strategy and can be woven into settings where longer term students' autonomy might not be warranted. Guiding the student, regardless of their grade level, through pedagogical lessons and projects, introduces them to power of self-determined learning. It gives them the opportunity to practice with tools they will be expected to use after they graduate. A significant challenge being faced by institutions of higher education is employer dissatisfaction with higher education graduates who lack the necessary skills and competencies for the workforce, and an increasing industry demand for autonomous and self-motivated employees. So this is the demand of the nowadays corporate sector. Hey, demand for autonomous and self-motivated employees who can manage the complexities of the workforce in creative and innovative ways. So, my dear friends, if we are not in pedagogical situation, hey, in the increasing industry demand situation for where they demands autonomy and self-motivated employee, we can manage the complexities of the workforce in creative and innovative ways only by pedagogical strategy. So that is why it is rightly moving towards a positive direction of pedagogy to andragogy to heutagogy, because pedagogy and andragogy are usually presented upon a continuum where andragogical practices are not usually used until the student is no longer an undergraduate. Some students mature much quicker and may feel restrained by pedagogical practices. Consequently, some adults are not ready for andragogical practices and still need pedagogical methods. Okay, when designing curriculum, context of educational theories from pedagogy through pedagogy may be needed for multiple reasons. The first is to try to meet the needs of all learners. The second is to attempt to increase the educational maturity level of those students who may still be at the pedagogical level. It would be ideal for the student to reach the level of heutagogy, particularly in graduate education. So we can say in the present situation, in the present corporate globalization situation, heutagogical learning situation for the graduates or higher educational learners provides the autonomy, provides the capability, and creates a working learning situation where they can solve their own problems in unknown situation, in the odd situation, in the challenging situations, where they can work very having with very strong mind. So these are the few things about the andragogy to pedagogy to andragogy to heutagogy. So, my dear students, if you have any, though we are time is my God going to finish. It is already finished, I think, no? Hello, my dear
Yes, sir.
participants.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm
Okay,
very
sir.
sorry. I'm very sorry. I'm unable to provide you the situation to clarify the doubt. So even I'm asking, requesting you, please, you may have any doubt, please ask me quickly. Any clarification? Because very briefly, I am telling you, pedagogy is a learning situation for higher learners, higher level learners to face the challenging situation of globalization, global society. Okay, in the global challenging society, where pedagogy provides autonomy, where pedagogy provides capability, okay, capacity, hmm, for challenging situation, for unknown situation, okay, and to face the odd situation, even to face the odd boss, okay, odd learning situation, odd learning tasks. So you will find we are when we are in corporate sector, okay, where you will find nowadays everything is unknown, everything is due to the industrialization, due to the technological innovations, okay, due to the technological explorations. Now everything is complex in nature. In this situation, if you are able, if you are not, if you are failed to provide the pedagogical situation for our students, then they will never face the new situation, challenging situation. This is my approach. This is my presentation in front of you, my dear friends.
Thank you, sir.
So,
Thank
So,
you, sir.
am I
thank you, sir.
am I give any comments? Am I able to clarify the pedagogical situation?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you
sir.
very much. Thank you all.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you all.
Uh,
Bye bye. See you. All the best. All the best, my dear friends. All the best.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
sir.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you,
very
sir.
much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'm taking the leave. Ma'am Ansar, I'm taking the leap.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much for your patient hearing, refreshing hearing. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir and ma'am. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Sharma ji, Joshi ji, all Gupta ma'am, all. Roy sir, thank you very much. Thank you, Khan sir. Misra ji, thank you very much. Thank you all. Bye bye.
Bye, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All the best from Kolkata, from my university. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Do you want something? Thank you very much, Dr. Jakir. Thank you. No question from the side of the audience, from the participants? Okay. So all the participants, please do your assignment and other kind of work that you have to submit.